is to finally get to the capital, and upon hearing that it'll take a while for you guys to get back before the next major step of whatever grand quest Alicia's dragging you guys along on comes to fruition, you mostly left to your own devices. Some of you went to simply relax at a familiar place, i.e. Azriel's summer home, while others did their own things. Octavius also made a rather terrifying acquaintance in the process, who, through a rather convoluted and long-winded series of apologies, possible threats upon their lives, and some confused method of flirting, eventually are joined by a rather intense monk.
Wait. Is this I gotta ask before we go through these, is this a player character or an NPC?
This is Claire's character. Yeah, this is her ex.
Or Hunter, I guess I could start calling because we're not in that.
Yeah. By the name of Grima Blackfist. A rather dedicated, let's say, student of his particular teachings. Regardless.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
You all find yourselves...
do we not get a morning after
you all find yourselves,
or is that not important?
Well, for the most part, you wake up in some random chick's room. You don't know where you are in particular. Does look kind of nice, though.
Yeah, you made a point for me to remember the name, so that's why I asked.
Did I ever send you what that name was? I can't remember. Okay.
When it comes to love, I need a slow hand.
Okay.
Well, for whatever reason, you find that name tattooed onto your left butt cheek.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Drunk you gets into some really stupid ideas.
Tramp
stamp.
So
here's
my
question.
It's not like the typical tramp stamp area.
Is it exactly perpendicular to where the other tattoo was?
No, it's right like on the center of the butt cheek. You have to admit though, as you're looking at it in the mirror, it's beautiful cartography.
That's gonna explain
it. Yeah, sorry. No, it's beautiful calligraphy. It's impressively mapped out common. It's beautifully written. The letters are just magnificently drawn in.
Tattoo my ass in a day.
You guys spent an entire night together. You'd be amazed what somebody can do if they put their mind to something.
I mean, the world's biggest domino formation only took 12 hours to make, and that had over 2 million dominoes.
Yeah. And Octavius, this is you we're talking about.
Like I said, Octavius, drunk you gets into some stupid things. Anyways, so do you want to try? It seems you're kind of empty, and upon further inspection, this is pretty clearly a room in some inn somewhere. There's no sign of anyone else's belongings. There's your clothes that are neatly folded and stacked on top of the tape and stacked on top of the desk. Black talk. And there's a small note written with the same rather elegant writing that simply says, "Thanks for the fun night. It was something I really needed. Also, thanks for indulging me. Signed, V."
Okay.
God damn it, not again. This is actually the second time this has happened to me.
Oh.
True, but the first time you were a bit more cognizant of the choice.
Was I? Because that whole weekend's still a blur.
You definitely remember agreeing to get the tattoo. You don't know what brought you
Wait a
to
minute.
that point. It's just like one
Wait a minute,
fixed
I
memory.
remember agreeing to the tattoo?
The first tattoo, the one you've gotten cut off.
Okay, I wouldn't have cut it off if I agreed. Wait, no. I know what that is now. Never mind.
It's not so much that you wanted it, it's that it was more a possible hazard to your health if you kept it. So you remember wanting it, and actually getting rid of it wasn't that much of a... It wasn't something you wanted, it was something more you realized, yeah, this is just going to cause more problems than it's worth, and just got rid of it. This new one, though, it might be a bit more difficult to get rid of.
No one wants to touch that.
At least it looks nicer than the other one, right?
At the very least, you got the word valor spelled on your butt.
Ah.
So, you might be able to pass it off as something possibly ingenious.
I had to hide a secret code somewhere.
Hey, Toki.
Hey. So, yeah. Octavius is up to his normal shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
How did Grima's night go?
Remind me again what you wanted to do?
You got drunk under the table by a Goliath.
That's not hard to do.
Okay, now I remember.
I figured you would.
Remember, they're the only woman at my side.
Sorry, no. Well, that's actually what you kind of say to yourself when you finally come to, is that you remember the two of you, after you started getting into that sort of realm when you're drinking, that you're not quite at blackout yet, but you kind of have this unconscious sort of hint that you're gonna end up there, that you decided to start arm wrestling them. Judging from the fact that there's blood on both sides of the table you're sleeping under currently, or the top part of the table at least, it looks like it was a fairly close game. Looking at which hand would have you wanted to use for wrestling? Arm wrestling, that is.
Huh?
Which arm would you prefer to use for arm wrestling?
His left one. Because that's his utility hand.
You notice that there's like scabbed over scar kind of marks on your knuckles and parts of the top skin of your hand, that seem to line up with the blood marks.
Hmm.
You also have like a small sort of one of those dish rags that a lot of bartenders use to wipe down the countertop, like tucked under the side of your head that's against the stone, and you notice there's a copious amount of drool on it.
Ah. It was a good night.
So are you sure he didn't just get his kidneys removed?
No, there's no scars.
Besides, I would have just taken somebody else's.
Why am I not surprised by that at all as well? Oh yeah, I have 2 spell slots.
Well, first off, I'm going to try and find the rest of my group. Last night was fun, but time to get to work. Even if work is fun.
Hello. On top of it, there's a small little canteen, sort of wood and metal canteen. It's pretty bog standard, and it seems like it's not something you remember being there last night. It's also got a note on it. Got it to that big orc guy I met.
What did it say?
It has a note like wrapped around the top that just has like in kind of sloppy common written, to the big orc guy I met.
All right, let's take a look at this letter.
It's just a note that's what it says. It's like a small shred of, it's like a small piece of.
So it's just like to and fro?
Pretty much. If you want to pick it up, it seems pretty full.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna look what's in the mug.
You uncap it, and it's a canteen, so it has a cap on it.
Yeah.
After pulling out the cork, that's actually a cap to it, you look inside, and you notice there's this brackish liquid, sort of this odd mixture of black, brown, and a bit of red.
I'm not gonna directly smell it. I'm going to waft the smell into my nose. I've dealt with enough poisonous objects to.
It burns your nostrils like only a few things in the world can. This is something known as rot gut.
Ooh.
It's typically reserved for tribal folk or those who just really don't. Those who want to get drunk but don't really have the supplies or necessary ingredients to make proper alcohol.
So this is basically moonshine you're describing.
I think that, except
It's a hard rye.
pretty much. It's effectively a poor man's attempt at trying to make hard liquor.
Oh,
Granted,
so-
it still has the same effects. It's just, it's been, the name rot gut is not one that was assigned to it willingly. I will say that much. Basically.
Bathtub gin.
Okay.
So like Mountain Dew.
Particularly known that anybody stupid enough to try to drink this stuff probably will end up dying of internal organ failure a few months later. Not only because the stuff quite literally lives up to its name at times if the person doesn't have a particularly strong constitution, but depending on who you buy it from, since typically it's a common staple of smugglers, criminals, and generally anybody who doesn't really have time to wait for alcohol to be properly distilled, it can also contain a myriad of addictive chemicals, drugs, or God knows what else. Basically.
You know what I'm gonna do with it? I'm gonna put the cork back on there. I'm gonna save that for a special occasion.
Yeah, no, it's surprisingly similar formulas were actually supposedly used by older kingdoms as a rite of passage.
Well then, the Lady of the Mountains, when I meet you once more.
Also, on the canteen, on the opposite side of where the note was, are the small initials GL.
Green Lantern.
It seems like no. It seems this was carved in with a knife, like a smaller sort of stiletto
Pocket
dagger.
knife?
Yes, no, more like a stiletto dagger. It was probably the smallest thing they had. But it's like it's very sloppily. The letters aren't even like circular. They're more angular cuts into it.
So a halfling sword.
Wait, no, that would be a halfling short sword, mind you.
All right. Thanks for the correction.
GL.
GL.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's what
Yes,
it says.
yeah.
On
Pretty
much.
long.
yeah. So, if you want to try to find your way back to the others, roll a general perception check.
All right.
So, Toki, you there?
All right.
So,
One
okay.
perception check. If all else fails, I know how I'm gonna find him.
Follow the smell of shame and aftershave.
Actually, I was gonna say, I was just going to do the old-fashioned way. You know what that is?
Tears and disappointment.
I searched for the one I searched for these individuals. They are of this height and of this name. Come forth, and I shall show you that I mean no harm.
Anyways,
Everything he says.
you managed to. No, you don't even really have to start pulling out that because you remember fairly well what path and what roads you took to get here. It's a bit of a slow process
yes,
because
and the Golden
Douglas.
Yeah, no, you eventually find your way to
Social consciousness.
the Golden District once again. and the guards reluctantly let you in because now you got a pass strung around your neck.
Wait a minute, I gotta say it. I'm just gotta say it. Externally, Greenlow's keeping his regular straight. Internally, he's like, yeah, now not even the guard can stop me from coming for the golden.
I imagine it's like, yo, yeah, that's right. I got entrance now, you bitch. What you gonna do now?
I can
Doing
walk
the 9
in.
entries at the same time.
I can walk in and you can't. But regardless, you eventually make your way back to the house. Due to the fact that it's pretty early in the morning, like the sort of like morning mists that sort of blanket the city and make it kind of hard to see past a few blocks, haven't like even let up yet. So every once in a while you see like typically a group of rather highborn women. They are all wearing fancy dresses and seem to be going somewhere. Like appear out of the mist or disappear into it, and they all seem somewhat perturbed by the walking hunk of green flesh and muscle that just seems to be casually wandering the Golden District with no supervision.
Hold. I'm gonna try and say this as gently as physically possible, which not as gentle as a break. But I'm gonna say, ladies of highest standing. Perchance, could you lead me to what was the guy's last name again?
One moment. God,
Noctis.
Yeah.
The Noctis estate.
Like
I have
you asked the first group, and like they panic, and they kind of with a bit of like a look of you can't really tell. It's either a mixture between terror, confusion, curiosity, and in one of the women, a bit of excitement. Like the one in front kind of like points back in the direction she walked and then jabs a finger to the left.
I thank you. Here, take this small
Do
patronage.
not tip high
as a
class
thanks.
ladies.
I'm gonna hand her like some dried flowers that I have in my bag or something.
One of them gingerly takes it, making sure to avoid actually touching your hand in the process, and quickly moves on.
And I'm going to follow the directions the nice lady gave me.
All right. Takes a few trial and errors, and you practically beating down the doors of some random some poor nobleman's home.
Greetings,
But-
noblest man.
No, and when I say beating down, as in you put cracks in the wood doors.
I do apologize for the structural damage that I brought to be.
No, it's like most of them like scream out that threats that they're going to call the guards if you don't go away. So after like a few knocks and you hear this response, it's like, well, that's not the house, and just move on to the next until eventually you do get to the house that is, it does seem a bit familiar, but then again, all these things just look like over-exaggerated huts to you. So, you know.
Question.
Yeah.
I think I would know which door it is. You know why? All the locks.
No, all the locks are internal.
You mean the knockers?
Oh.
You can't see them from the outside.
All right. Well,
No, he doesn't use the knockers. Knockers are for babies in his book.
because my
Also, he has a tendency of ripping them off by accident. So, you know. But eventually you do, and some poor...
knockers are for babies. It's just that my hands.
Where you went kind of robotic there for a second.
It's not that knockers are for babies.
Dude, you're cutting out and getting robot. I think you have to come back in.
All right. You were saying?
Where?
Do not whistle into a mic.
I can hear you, man.
You can hear you now.
Uh,
A little robotic, but better than before.
I was gonna say he doesn't think that. I was gonna say that knock. He doesn't think that baby.
Can you try repeating that? I
You need
couldn't
to
really
close
understand
down
it. Sorry.
Discord and restart it and come back in. You can't just leave the call and come back in. You have to completely shut down Discord for it to refresh.
Yeah,
Or if you web browser, just reload the page.
Yeah, dude, you're kind of cutting out really hard here.
Okay.
Oh, hey, where? Try again.
Does
He's
anyone
still
else hear him,
typing.
or is it just me?
Do like little.
Okay. So, how's everyone been? It's been a while since I've actually done a game with everyone.
Pretty good. Well, almost everybody. Anyways, so we'll cut to the others. I suppose, Red, you're the one who's actually staying in the. You actually got lodging with somebody else. Oh no, you actually did stay in the Noctis house. You got invited and just came there to stay because hey, it's better than sleeping in a tavern.
Hey, it's free.
That too.
The tavern's pretty comfortable to have you now.
Oh hey, where you're back?
Yeah, I only have like 9 gold on me right now. Or what? I have more. I don't know.
Where? What did you want to say? Like,
Oh, it was, he doesn't think that knockers are for babies. He thinks that because his hands are too big for most door knockers, that it's for people with baby hands
yeah. Well,
that can't handle knocking on hard wood.
anyway, so you're not entirely wrong. Point being, so you're let in by a rather as tragically small maid that just seems absolutely horrified by seeing your shadow in the doorway. She does recognize you though as who you are because Munieka kind of runs a tight ship around here, and she does let you in.
Do not worry, tiny maid. I mean you no harm. I merely have business with the master of your house.
She's off continent.
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
Then
He means the other one.
I mean the other one, the shorter one, possibly. Male one? Can't really tell sometimes.
Oh, he should be in his room.
So,
Breakfast is almost ready if you want it. And
I'll
she
bring
kind
it
of
to him.
she kind of hurries off in the direction of some service room.
I was gonna
Not
offer
certain.
to help. Well then, I wonder which rooms is the male Noctis's.
You can go searching.
That's what I'm planning to do.
Roll investigation.
What's up?
Hey, Toki.
Welcome back.
I've been here the whole time.
You just weren't responding to us when we asked.
I didn't hear anybody call my name.
Okay.
Yep. Lori will find out.
Okay, so it doesn't take that long. Thankfully, you don't have to bust down any doors to try and find it. It mostly because it has his name scrawled in rather nice letters.
I was gonna
Doors.
say I can smell him.
No, actually, you can't smell Noctis. You never really got a scent off of him. But point being, you're going to find his door and it's cracked open. Like not your version of cracked open. Like it's just ajar.
I was gonna lightly knock on it and say, in the most effeminate voice I could, "Room service."
Yeah, no, it still sounds manly even from you. Anyways, like you knock and the door like just opens further and nobody's in it.
If he's not in this room, looks like I have to look for him. And I'm going to go search for Noctis.
Okay, that will take up most of your time. Toki, let's flip to you. You stayed in the Noctis house, right? Toki.
Okay.
I said I assume so.
Sorry, it didn't register. Yeah, so you wake up and mostly to the fact that some massive fucking... Oh, yeah, it's Garima. Like, basically kicks your door down, except he's knocking. Anyways, that's a rude awakening, and then he's like, he's not here, and then just moves on. But it's morning. You also smell breakfast.
I guess I put on my vestments and go downstairs.
All right. Wait, you don't even have like casual clothing? You just have the priest robes?
Yeah, I only have priest robes.
And another reason I don't like him. Right there.
Anyway, you do, and you notice that a few of the maids give you kind of like perturbed looks, but for a few of them it's like this is kind of seeing your face, especially with all the stitches on it, is kind of even for them a bit weird, but for a good number of them, then they seem to mostly be older maids. It doesn't even seem to faze them all that badly.
Giant orc man walking through the building. Oh, that's just Tuesday.
No, the orc man kind of does give them pause. It's just seeing a person who kind of looks weird.
I'm not really paying attention to anybody anyway, so...
Yeah, no, and also you're kind of used to those funny looks from people. So you eventually move on, and you come to what looks like a small dining room. Well, small is a relative term. This room is bigger than, hell, your entire quarters back in the church you studied in. And that was 3 rooms.
What's for breakfast?
The maids don't even answer you as they're busy like moving platters and plates and all manner of food. Yeah, no, whatever the chef damn wants to make.
So make me come over there and kick you in the ass.
I like the chef.
Wait, which character is this?
I'm not there.
Octavius.
Actually, when would I show up? Actually.
Anyways, roll perception. Well, no, roll investigation to see if you can find your way back. Because in case you haven't noticed, capital cities are kind of big.
And I have never been here.
So for all you know, for all you know, you could be on the exact opposite side, and that's kind of the case. Somehow you moved several miles in the opposite direction of Noctis's house. What the hell did you get up to?
Congratulations.
The inn is somewhere close to what you can only assume is a mining type district, because there are several sort of shops and repositories that sell like raw ores and other trinkets or bits and baubles that might have been mined but have no real use. There's also plenty of blacksmithies, a few rail systems that seem to go places, and also a plethora of other such things. But you slowly pick your way through it and eventually make your way over the course of about an hour, because you're making a pretty good pace. You manage to get to the Golden District, and thankfully they seem to let you in as well. One of the guards looks to you. Actually, no, you're entering from a different part of the Golden District, so never mind. They don't know anything about the massive orc that came through here. But point being that eventually you pick your way through and find your way back to Noctis's house.
Oh, yep.
You get in, and the first thing that hits you is the smell of what sounds like breakfast and somebody screaming, "Don't make me come in there and kick your ass." You also see Red, the tiefling, slowly making his way down the stairs, kind of rubbing sleep out of his eyes, dressed in pretty basic clothing.
Hey, I wouldn't be rubbing sleep out of my eyes. I'd just be full on scratching my eyes.
Oh, yeah, then that.
I'm just gonna say it. Grima's the terrifying creature called a morning person.
Preach.
Yeah, no, Grima is... Anyways, so there's apparently breakfast.
Do I notice... First thing I gotta ask, do I notice Octavius walking in as I'm walking down the stairs?
You do know, yeah, you do notice that he enters the house kind of rubbing his back, sort of just, yeah, it's kind of like rubbing his back, sort of stretching out slightly as he steps inside.
I'm gonna pat him on the back as he walks by and just cast the spell. Click on the spell properly. Cure wounds on him, just do.
Wasn't
Okay.
Thing, but okay.
You got
He was rubbing his
Mark?
back.
Yeah, Octavius. That damn crick in your neck you've had for like a few weeks is finally gone. But aside from that,
boy.
not much.
Finally, thanks.
Young Noctis, where are you? I'm searching for you.
And any feeling of gratitude you have is immediately gone and replaced by abject terror. As you see this massive orc who you know to be Grima, but instinctively you think is some kind of enemy here to rip you limb from limb, like slowly and methodically prowling the upper the second floor, because there's a small section that's open to the first floor's lobby, like foyer entrance area. You see him like slowly and methodically like opening doors, looking in and saying that out loud to himself as he's like creeping on past.
I avoid him and I try to make him some breakfast.
Hey, there's breakfast. Yeah, no. It's good because those are... Grima's going one direction, you went the other. You sit down and you notice Toki getting into a verbal shouting match with a chef. Something about bacon and eggs. You don't know anything else.
Just gonna say it. You shouldn't ever fuck with the person who fucks with your food.
I think you messed up the words there, but close enough.
So, I'm going to pull aside one of the maids or butlers, whichever I stumble upon first. I'm going to ask.
You find an older butler.
Greetings, kind sir. I wish to ask if you know the location of the younger Noctis.
I believe he went out for a while. He said he's going to be gone on personal business for a few hours, and then left.
Very well. Do you have a room I can wait for him in?
Motherfucker, this is a mansion. I'm sure they have 5 different office rooms dedicated just for business dealings.
It's 6,
exactly.
But he's just like, very well then, I will wait at the front door for him.
He left 5 hours ago. I'd strongly suggest you just go on with your own dealings. He'll be back eventually.
But he is part of my dealing. Besides, I have patience. And Grima's gonna do an about face. He's gonna
Have
start
fun
walking
sitting
to the
for
front
this
door.
entire session. Goodbye. Winks to the camera.
Okay, so the butler, it's like in the shot after you do the about face, the butler just kind of and just turns around and walks off to do his own business.
Grima's gonna walk up to that front door. He's gonna cross his legs and he's gonna plop down right there.
No, I was more thinking you were like in the curled sitting position where like the knees are up against your chest. Like you're just like a dog waiting for the owner to come home. You're just like staring at the door.
Everything's fine.
Anyways, Toki,
Fine.
you notice
Okay,
as
turn to
Octavius and Red come into the dining room and sit down after your little spat with the chef that you're very certain you won. You sit down to enjoy a meal as well. It's a fairly nice spread. Better than anything you guys have eaten in the past month, though, since that's rations and the occasional rabbit you guys smited.
Wait, is Toki back?
Wait.
Toki.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Yes, he is back. Anyways, Toki, so yeah, the meal's definitely an improvement to what you guys have been eating for the past month or so. But again, since that was mostly scraps, whatever you could get off a corpse that didn't seem too gamey, and the occasional rabbit that you, out of desperation, smited.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, that's not much of a fair comparison.
As I'm eating one, I'm gonna speak out loud. I wonder if the chef took the payment for the poison I meant to give him.
I look at my food suspiciously.
You're good. It's for
Roll investigation.
I keep eating because I'm a paladin. I don't give a fuck.
I thought cleric, but
Clerics might too.
doesn't look poisoned.
I didn't actually pay anyone to poison him. I was trying to mess with Priest Boy over there.
Okay, I'm not one to bring up business during breakfast, but considering we have some free time, might as well bring this up.
Grima, you heard business.
Business?
He just barges through the door with 4 other men in business suits.
No, it's more like his head turns on a swivel. Business?
No, not including you.
I was quoting Adventure Time, but that works.
I'm going to start.
I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
I'm going to move like the shadow of death itself, and let me see if I can do this right.
You gotta roll stealth to do. What's everybody's passive?
11.
11.
Toki, what's your passive?
Toki, you're 19.
Yeah, you don't get
I'm a
passive.
19.
Mark, what are you?
Yes.
Mark,
11, I said.
what are you?
I don't think I heard the question.
Oh. Passive perception, what was it?
Oh, 19.
Yeah, so you guys don't hear him approach, but Toki, you hear this as this guy as the orc comes barging into the room, just business.
Ah, jeez, fuck. Stop doing that.
Oh, hi.
Scaring
Stop
the
doing
shit
what?
out of me.
Well, then don't be so easy to be scared. Feel your heart.
He called you soft.
Says the man who has to stitch himself back together.
Oh.
It shows
I
his
can
battle
stitch you
continuance.
together.
It's at this point you actually hear a coming from somebody, and it's Muñeca.
Ah, Ninyuka, you look wonderful today.
Please take a seat.
Very well. And he's just gonna find the chair that's to where he can get direct eye contact with Octavius.
That would be one of the end. That would be either the seat across from him or the seat or an end seat.
Right across from him.
Okay. She walks up to. I'm assuming you guys are all clustered at like one end of the table.
I'm sitting as far away from
Move on. Get
Toki as I
closer. We
can.
need to discuss.
I can hear you from over here.
Why do rich people have these
I can use the
ridiculously
message.
long tables?
So that if there's ever a fight, they can use them for siege maneuvers.
You do
Party,
realize
so-
that the servants need to eat as
I
well,
thought they had their own
correct?
kitchen.
No, this is a much smaller home, so
Smaller
we
home.
make do. Point being,
I look around
you
thinking,
clearly don't
Yeah.
understand the scale
fit
then.
my entire village in it.
You'd be squeezing it there, but base sentiment.
My compliments to your chef.
Munieka reaches into. She's actually changed outfit. She's now in like this long sort of overcoat with what appears to be some kind of simplistic dress underneath. It's a heavily padded coat too. She like reaches in and from the fold she pulls out a scroll of parchment. This was delivered to me this morning while I was out performing errands. They instructed that it was to be given to, and I'm quoting here, whatever backwater idiots Alicia managed to con into her grand
Oh, that
scheme
just
here.
fills me with confidence.
Hey, I take offense to that. Only some of us are idiots.
Wait. Backwater.
Considering where we were,
Yes, not paraphrasing, that's their exact words. I could not get his identity because he disappeared as
Wait,
soon as he
someone got
gave me
past
the
you?
note.
Oh.
It was a large crowd. Also, he didn't pose a threat to anyone I'm directly concerned about. As such, to be completely frank, I didn't care.
What if he posed a threat to everyone and he's just disguising it by delivering that note?
Not my problem. Point being, it appears to be a note. I've already read it, and it's a letter from Alicia. It's rather long, so I'm not going to read the entire thing, but the general gist is she's currently meeting with higher-ups from her own church, and will need a few days to sort things out. Until then, you've been given the run of the place. Also, your payments will be delivered post-haste.
I forgot we're getting paid for this.
This will be the first of many payments, but however, as per the contract signed and created by the party, the first payment will be delivered upon successful delivery of the contract holder, Alicia in this case, to her destination, being Girote.
Mission accomplished.
So, I suppose it does also say there was a bonus for doing it about 2 months ago, but we'll just
to be
ignore
fair,
that.
we did cure a forest of a curse that they didn't even know about.
Yeah.
She opens the letter again.
Oh.
Yes, there's no unfortunately, there's no bonuses tied to that.
Except for possible allies in the future.
Again, not my problem. I don't care. She also notes that idle hands make for mischief.
I get the joke.
That's blurred out. But point being, she suggests meeting with a colleague of hers. Oh God, I gotta look stuff up again. This is what I do for writing a lot of notes regarding this setting. And the worst one is I'm already writing another one. I have a problem where I write things and I don't know when
That's
to
not
stop.
a problem.
Point being,
You just need to point it to something useful.
Yeah. While all this is happening, Grima's showing that yes, he does have table manners.
He's using the salad fork with
He's just
salad. He's using the steak knife to cut the steak. He's dipping his fingers in the cooling pool.
yeah, no, it's she instructed to meet with one crypt keeper. I don't honestly know if that's because the ink got smudged or if that's actually her handwriting. One implies she wrote this recently. The other is that poor girl. Okay, at least it says where he's.
Brian, I swear to God, if it's a shriveling old man that tells terrible puns,
Yes.
It is
But
not
you know
that.
what I'm talking about.
Well, now he's just rewriting everything.
Yeah, I know.
I don't.
Is this time for Tales of the Crypt?
It says he's in an inn close to the edge of the cloth district, which is the merchant district. So why he'd be there, I don't know. Honestly, I don't care at this point. Supposedly he has some jobs that you can take on that will pay a good bit of money to keep yourselves occupied while I plan out our next steps.
Well then.
By the way, P.S. Don't trust whatever said when the note is delivered. He's just an asshole.
Oh, the backwater peasants thing. Got it.
That would have been. So, if you want to go and do that, that would be greatly appreciated. Because honestly, so long as Azrael isn't here, I really don't see a reason why you should be allowed to stay either.
Hurts, Monica. After all we've been through.
Probably clean up that mess.
Again, I don't care.
My compliments are to the chef and the staff that helped prepare this meal. I'm gonna lightly clean. I'm gonna clean off any crumbs or food that got off on my chin and my beard, and then I'm gonna go. Wow, we already have his location.
Okay,
Why don't
before
we
we
give
go
him a
out of
visit?
our way to find more work for
Okay,
ourselves,
I'm gonna.
we got this stuff from that tribe, and honestly, I kind of want to decide what we should do with it because I'm holding a lot of it.
All right, hand something over to me real quick. I will take it off your hands by any chance.
Oh yeah, it'd be good to point out nobody knows where Ross went.
Oh yeah.
And
I quickly checked my money.
all still there.
I'm gonna reach my hand towards him jokingly, like, "Oh, you caught me. Sorry." All right, but what is this stuff? Okay, since I wasn't there last for that, what exactly did y'all get?
Okay, so reading off Ring of Abjuration, just a few decorative rings, Helm of False Life, Ring of 1 AC, Ring of Protection,
Ring of 1 AC or ring of Protection?
Ring of Protection is the official name, but it's more often known as Ring of +1 to AC.
Right, but Protection also gives you saving throw advantages.
Oh, there's two different guys then.
So is it a +1 or Protection?
But point being, there's
Gotcha.
+1. There's two rings that are kind of iffy, and one ring that just has abjuration magic tied to it. By the way, you can only find one of those cloak rings.
And they were on the chain. I used one, and I had to put it away after we got back.
Yeah. But
I checked my
one's
fingers.
just missing. They're not. Well, you're visible, so it's not there. No, as in when you went to go search for them, they weren't there. One of them wasn't. One's still there. You pull it out, and briefly you feel that same compulsion to put it back, to slide it back onto your finger, but it's a fleeting notion, and you just set it down again.
Us the one ring.
One ring to rule them all. Grima getting the one ring. And
we're not giving Grima the one ring.
You also have a few potions.
2 potions of etherealness, 1 greater potion of health,
and 1 enchanted sword.
That's what I wanted to go over. So we don't know what this ring magic does. We don't know what the sword does. But from what I was able to identify, we were going to take to figure what they do, and we got 2 blank rings. So what I was thinking.
I will take the magic sword.
Wait.
Okay. While you're like talking and trying to plan this out, Red, you just pick up the sword. Roll a d20.
All right.
I was gonna examine one of the rings.
All right.
There's only one
which
that we don't know what it is.
roll a.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. So quiet for a moment. And Toki, you actually watch as Red kind of gets this inquisitive look that you know, oh, he's going to do something stupid, isn't he? And he picks up the sword. Well, you weren't wrong. And it gives off this faint glow, and then these two greenish tendrils from that appear to have been wrapped around what's left of the blade, like unfurl and tightly wind themselves around Red's wrist of the hand he's holding the blade in.
Congratulations, buddy.
Well, I'm an artist for magical items are my thing.
And you fucked up.
Yeah, Red, you can't let go.
Going to delete
simple.
that from my inventory.
I study its magic.
Well, it's cursed. Thanks for volunteering to attune to it.
Toki, you notice there's one ring that stands out to you particular. It does give off like a faint arcane aura, and there's small symbols etched into it. Yeah. Toki.
I'm listening.
Yeah, no, sorry. If you want, you can pick up the ring to inspect it. Given your background with arcane study, you might be able to get a bit more info out of it than the others do.
Toss it to him.
Okay.
Okay. Octavius tosses you the ring. Feels slightly warm to the touch. You can't discern the exact enchantment used, as this is classified as weird magic and is a particularly difficult branch to find. But you get the general sense that it isn't just a straight ring of protection, but rather it's a ring that instills some kind of ward upon the wearer that allows them to just ignore damage, but rather it in some way, shape, or form redirects damage. Or redirects...
Like a reflect or an absorb.
It's... No, the only part you can get is that there's one section that says, and those who do harm upon I shall in turn, and then shall in turn feel the bite. And that's all you can make out, because it's kind of weird. The symbols are etched in, but they're constantly fluid. They're moving, they're shifting, and sometimes they just drift off the edge of the ring and disappear to be replaced by different ones. It's the one phrase that you can consistently get out of the ring, and it's all written in arcane sigils, or arcane runes. So it's something you can understand. You have like a basic understanding of how the arcane language works because of your studies. But you get the general sense that this ring doesn't just provide a sort of invisible barrier that surrounds the entire body. It has something to do with redirecting damage back onto whoever attacks you. You don't know the specifics of how it works. You don't know if there's any limitations, but that's the general idea. That's the most you can get out of it.
So a ring of reflect.
Cool. Full detail list.
If you're marking it down in your inventory, you'd mark it down as ring of reflect with a question mark next to it, because yeah.
I mean, I'll wear it if nobody else will.
All right, removing it.
Something tells me it's going to be a cursed ring, though.
Okay. Then we got the helmet, which has false life. Ring of cloak, cursed ring with pure invisibility. 8 statues of bliss I have written down. And the 3 potions. Oh, also my dagger needles, which I don't know if Noctis wants to toy with or not.
You remember giving them to him earlier.
Okay, I'll remove. I didn't.
Yeah. Mostly for just dagger needles.
Oh, they were from a plant.
Again. Oh yeah, those. Sorry, oh yeah, no, the plant's dagger needles. Yeah, no. You gave those to Noctis to. He said he had a few ideas that he might want to try out, and
Okay.
you handed them over because
Yeah, of course. Yes, he is.
He's smarter than you.
me.
He can do things. He does machines. Yeah. If we're doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing, he does machines. Yes.
Before we go too much farther, do I have a contact in the city at all?
You actually have like a small book of contacts you keep throughout the Imperium, because that's the area you typically operate in, and that's where you have the most contacts. You can flip through that book to see if you do.
Of false life? Because I forget what that does.
Question.
Yeah.
Does the ring confer on the AC bonus?
No. Again, like I said, this ring does not provide a sort of any kind of barrier. It is not a ring of protection or... One moment. Yeah, no, Mark. Ring of protection is what it is. You gain a +1 bonus to AC and saving throws. Okay, so it's both.
Okay, that's why I had to ask.
That's yours.
I just have it marked down as a +1.
Toki, your ring appears to be... It takes the base inspiration from the Ring of Protection, but it isn't one. It seems to have a different form of enchantment that it confers. But it's not a Ring of Protection.
All right. I don't want the helmet. I don't wear helmets.
Upside though, it's definitely not cursed.
It's a helmet.
What's the helmet do?
It allows the wearer who is attuned to it to cast false life. It allows you to cast false light. It has 3 charges. Each charge can be expended to cast the spell False Life at first level at will instantaneously. And it for however many charges you have per long rest. And the charge rate regain is 1 per long rest. Sorry.
Never mind. You go ahead.
Note that you cannot expend more than 1 charge at a time, so you can't use 3 to cast it at 3rd level.
3 hit points is what that does for an hour. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Question: is there a place to buy shields?
Market District more sells like general supplies, sort of. It's more like it's more mercantile, not specific to adventurers, or it's not specific to like adventurers. That was the district you woke up in. Typically, it's known as the Foundry District.
For this, then. The general area.
Probably. Yeah, you know the general direction to go to find that area. But
also, what do those statues of Bliss do?
Yeah, I was thinking
you have no idea.
A magic guy or a historian, they might be worth some money. Also, I say we keep the potion of greater potion of healing, but what should we do with the ethereal potions? Because those sound really cool, but they're probably worth a lot. Also, we got 2 random gold rings. We can probably just sell those, unless anyone's got some jewels that they want to put on them.
I would like to try one of the random gold rings.
And we should probably keep I know they'll fetch a lot, but we could probably use them later down the line for something.
Yeah, the gold rings are not enchanted. They're just rings.
Okay.
They're just
Then what I'm
really
gonna
nice
do is
looking
I'm
gold rings. They, due to
I'm
where you
gonna-
found them, they're probably just something some guy picked up because they look cool.
I'm gonna take the gold rings and I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna braid them into my beard.
You're gonna
That
take
way,
these are finger
if
rings.
we,
They're not
we ever
braid
run low on
rings.
cash.
They're not big enough for that.
Yeah,
I
no.
know, but-
So you're
But
gonna
if
take
you do a
both the
tight
gold
weave,
rings
you
and
can
just
do it.
use them to tie your beard.
Yeah. That way it looks like.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Khal Drogo.
So that
Okay, you have
Just
two
give someone a
beard
reason to cut off
braids.
your beard.
Yeah, you have 2 beard braids. But point being,
So
okay, so you
It's like
guys
an
want to
occasion
go anywhere,
did
or
anyone
basically
collect
everything's
the
been
helmet
divvied
of
up?
false life? I haven't marked it off yet. Red got the cursed sword. Toki got the ring of aberration. I got the ring of protection. That guy's got the gold. Grimm's got the gold rings. Did anyone?
I'd like to point out that essentially in the background of this, of like the shot of you guys discussing what to do with it, like in the background, sort of like blurred out, Red's been trying to get the sword off his hand.
Just sit down and attune to it. Maybe it'll stop.
I'm gonna be exactly honest. I've been examining this sword, studying it, like learning.
I'm gonna be
learning
honest.
magic.
I was eyeing that sword. Thank you for taking the kit.
Anyway, so you like slow. It takes a while because, well, it's kind of a bit different than just normally attuning to it. Some part of the magic is already activated and as such, it's a lot harder to get to pin it down because typically when you're attuning to something, you can get the full scope of what it does without it actually happen, without that magic actually being active.
I don't suppose
at the
there's a
time.
way I could charm the sword.
That would imply
Dude,
it's intelligent,
dude,
and so far
motherfucker,
you haven't
I
heard
would not
any
put it
voices
past
in your
you.
head.
Okay.
It's not
Gotcha.
intelligent. It's just a cursed sword. But Red, yeah, no. Just to put down one thing, you don't hear any voices in your head once the vines start wrapping around your wrist.
First blade. Can I basically tell any other aspects other than the fact there's lines wrapping around my arm?
Make yourself some dinner. I'll kiss all the kiddos. I promise.
What are you trying to do here?
Huh?
What did you want to do?
I will. Bye-bye.
Like examine it because you said it's a broken blade, right?
Oh yeah. So the way it works is the blade.
Sword from Soul Calibur is what you described.
The blade,
So it's a sword that can break into a whip.
except the top part of the blade is sort of jagged and broken off the tip. But other than that, it's almost a complete short sword.
All right. I'm just. So if I tried sheathing this sword at all, it's still the sheath will even be traveling around with my
You
arm.
cannot put it down correctly.
Well, actually, there is a sheath that came with the sword. If you put it back in, you feel like the small prick on your arm, and it comes away. There's a series of welts where blood seems to have been drawn, but the vines retract and wrap around the sheath now.
All right, I'm gonna put the wrap a belt around this sheath and put it on my side because this could possibly be useful for later.
A blade that injures its user is not a very handy tool.
All right.
No, it didn't actually incur any damage. It just sort of like lightly
Okay, now
pricked for
here's
blood.
the big question.
But I understand it's
Do we keep the impossibly invisible ring? Because this is really powerful.
I think. Do we want Socrates Republic around us, or do we want like the Republic? Do we want to possibly have one of us go mad and have sex with the Queen?
I'm already mad. What are you talking about?
I do not believe the Queen would be able to handle me.
Okay, yeah, this is staying on my necklace.
Okay, so I will let you keep it.
Okay.
So my big
Point
plan
being-
is that Grima's just gonna have a basically
Okay,
a
if no one
casual
wants it, I'm
built
gonna
into
take
his
the helm of
beard.
false life. Sit it on top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's a pretty decently built leather helm.
No.
All right, Toki, I know where you can buy a
Anyways,
shield.
so if you guys
Said
want
that
to
out
move,
loud.
I got a friend I'm gonna go visit in town.
I hope your friend is in good health. It'd be a shame if something happened to them.
That is
okay,
Whatever.
yeah, Toki, if you want to, Octavius offers to lead you to somewhere where you can buy a shield.
buy a shield, the whole thing.
A sturdy shield, not like a buckler. I need a
This
sturdy
is the
shield.
Adventurers District.
Oh no, like I said, Foundry District. Basically.
I'm looking for a new set of gauntlets.
Okay, you'd probably go there too. So let's focus on Red's story for a bit. Red, you come across a name that is pretty familiar. It is marked as a V in your book. And next to it is marked, and next to it you have the notes elf, you have an elf, and that's about it. You also have you have elf and like a short description of where they are, but nothing else.
Oh, I'm assuming this is like my first and only contact I've ever actually made active friends with. Like I've actively gone on my way to be kind to him.
Oh,
About that.
motherfucker, roll for
Roll a
history.
All right, let me shift off my notes back to the proper page.
But
You watching one with and or roll history?
no, just roll a d10. You like to think you're friends. I mean, he's one of the few contacts in the city that won't kill you on sight.
Yeah.
So yeah. Relatively speaking, yes, you could be considered friends in the loosest definition of the term.
I'm going to borrow some gold from Octavius. By borrow, I mean act like I borrow some gold from him. Like one more gold to like top out at 10. So
all right.
Get the brightest guy I can afford.
Roll a sleight of hand to see if you can do it without being noticed.
No, I'm asking if I can borrow
okay.
one gold.
Fine, sure, whatever. Pay me back later.
Oh well. Oh, actually, if I don't use it, I'll return it.
My gold.
I take that gold.
All right. So, Red, you make your way down into what's known as the Sigil District, which is generally which houses not only the academy that the Jidote government, that the Jidote Council actually runs, but it is actually the biggest of them, and one of the various bars that caters more often to students and staff of this academy, because honestly they sometimes need to unwind, is where your contact works. More specifically, they own the place.
I am going to walk in to the bar and look for the elf name. I mean, begins with B.
A.
Oh, you said. I
said AV.
AV.
It was a set of initials, essentially. But you look around and you actually notice there's one elf with actually a large A symbol tattooed onto their arm. They're an elf, and they look pretty tall. They got a few scars on their face that probably came from somewhere, and Toki DC'd.
Okay, I'm just going to straight out say, is this my contact?
It's probably him. I mean, you haven't seen him in a few years, so For all you know, he changed a lot. Though you probably realize now you put him in as AV because of the A. It might actually be an initial.
It would be it. Is he working behind the bar or?
Yeah, he's currently working behind the bar, and doesn't actually see you at the moment. He's sort of minding his own business and kind of tending to other people who are getting his attention.
All right, I am going to walk at the bar and buy a drink. Like, buy a coffee, essentially. It's still the morning, and unlike some people, I don't drink it all the time.
Like, do you actually put one of your hands on the bar counter? It's like, sort of lean over and order a drink?
Yeah, no, I do. Like, very friendly.
Okay. The moment you do, like, this massive knife comes from out of nowhere and, like, slams in between two of your fingers.
Hey, I have money this time.
And it's the guy with the A on his bicep, on his arm.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. This time I have money.
Kind of surprised to see you back here.
And I'm kind of surprised you missed my hand.
You were implying I missed.
I'm implying you didn't actually stab me. Which was opposite of what I was expecting, not gonna lie.
Last I remember, I thought I told you to get out and never come back.
Oh, I've come to try to fix that bridge I completely destroyed.
Well, I mean, last I remember, you did threaten to fake a contract on my head just so every bounty hunter in the entire Imperium would be busting down my door. So yeah,
Hey,
pretty good.
it's not
What do
my
you
fault.
want?
I literally just wanted to see how you're doing.
Fine, I run the place now.
Oh,
Anything
glad to
else?
hear. I'm feeling a lot of hostility between me and you.
Well, when one threatens another's life, that doesn't exactly foster any kind of friendship.
Hey, but I never said a contract for dead.
You know how most bounty hunters operate.
If the price is right, they tend to bring them back alive. So I found it much easier alive.
Hey, how's that lady doing? You know the one I'm talking about.
Are you talking about Maria? Because
that one weird chick who kept you on a leash for a few years.
The
tiefling?
Mentor of sorts.
Yeah, let's call her that. How's she doing? We haven't had the chance to talk in a while.
I haven't seen her in a long time, not gonna lie. Okay.
She has you on a job, doesn't she?
Nope. I am completely free of a job right now. I'm just
kind of deception.
Lying?
You're lying.
Okay. Be nice.
Remember, she put you on that one job in... Remember that job she put you on, the missing person?
Oh, okay. That's who you're talking about. I was making sure. No. Oh, wait. I'm not gonna... I'm gonna immediately jokingly lie like that. Like, yeah, no, I'm not on a job right now. I'm just looking for someone.
Yeah, sure. Your definition of looking for someone, though, typically involves payment.
More favor owed than payment required.
Okay, so be honest. Why are you here? Because I know it's not for the sparkling conversation.
I think you'd make pleasant company.
Would you be surprised if it said I was literally trying to fix a bridge? Because I know contracts are important to keep.
Likely. Very likely to be surprised. But, fine. Let's say I want to fix the bridge. What do you have on offer?
You mean aside from the oath of friendship and the fact that no one's tried to kill you yet? At least as far as I'm aware.
I view the second one more as professional courtesy rather than any kind of benefit. But all right, let's consider ourselves friends. In exchange for me making sure that word gets around that you're an all right guy and not one to be shot on sight, we'll just say you owe me one.
You mean the fact that I look like a walking, talking devil?
Oh, please. You've seen some of the others in your line of work, right?
Yeah.
You're downright cuddly compared to them. Anyways, you should drink.
Not to lie. I also have a kind of honest. I might be getting out of this work sooner rather than later.
Aw, and the entire industry will mourn you. Here's your drink. Pay up and get out after you're done.
Right. You did remember I ordered like a tea, right? It's kind of early to be drinking alcohol.
You're handed a small mug of tea.
Oh.
Anyways.
Pay.
Yeah, so you drink, pay, and then get your ass out of the district. Moving back to the other group, Octavius, Toki, and Grima, you all make your way out of the house, and Octavius, it takes a bit of backtracking, and you occasionally go down a side street that just leads nowhere, but eventually you guys get to the gates of the Foundry District. And a thing I should probably note is that for each guard outpost along a district's line, there's a small sort of totem. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a small statue that's basically just a just a large rectangle. Not an altar. It's like just like a rectangular sort of. Yeah, it's like a small obelisk sort of thing that's just set into the ground. It's rectangular, and it's rectangular with verticality being the longer side, and it has a large metallic, essentially, medallion sort of hammered into the side facing away from the guard post that has the district symbol. Golden is a gold coin. Yeah, golden is a gold coin. Cloth is a piece of parchment. The rune district is a runic circle. And the Foundry District is an anvil. Just thought I'd point out that little detail, but the gate's open because it's a public district most people can get access to. A lot of the common folk work here. So there's really, the guards are only there to make sure nobody drunk gets in there and starts trying to get a brawl going with all the pointy objects around.
I wonder who would do that.
Realized, does my pass to the capital specify what districts I'm allowed into? So
it's just supposed to get you past the gates. On the back of it, actually, were scrawled in direct, specific instructions to do. Say a certain phrase to whichever guard you give the pass to at the main gate to get into the capital, and then go to so and so tavern. No, you got in on Alicia's pass. So if you ever need to get in the future, you could probably just do that to get in.
I was wondering if that was Well, so, no, it's just instructions on how to get in. Gotcha.
It's instructions on how to meet up with whoever gave you the pass, so that they can get you into the Golden District.
We're shopping right now. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah, no. Anyway,
so I need to find a size extra large battle. Gauntlets.
You actually all three of you, Toki, Ware, and Toki, Grima, and Octavius, roll investigation. Because this is to find a place that's selling what you guys want.
I'm just realizing what I want would not be in this district. Because I'm looking for, like, someone to potentially look over these statues. And that would either be some kind of historical district or maybe the Rune district. Since I didn't know that was a thing.
We can go there after.
So, Toki, you get...
That fits.
It's kind of similar to the place the city you spent a lot of time in while you were studying the clerical ways. It's a pretty good layout of the same place. So you find a blacksmithy that has sort of a sign with a bunch of different weapon patterns and like a sword and then a suit of armor next to it with a shield in one in the left arm, in the left hand side, on the left hand side. Anyways, so yeah, you just kind of lead the rest of them there, and inside there's there's like those what are they called? Armor stands, I guess, where mannequins. It's sort of a special it's like a specially made wooden mannequin that's specifically designed to allow armor to be displayed. And actually give me a second.
I just wanted to send a picture of my weird plant. It was just like...
Sorry, checking something. Anyway, so point being, for the most part, like when you go inside, you see there's weapon racks, there's armor displays, there's even like a glass display case at a countertop that has a bunch of daggers and a few other items on display. There's even a few pieces of jewelry here that seem to just be like sort of ego booster pieces that whoever made them just put on display because it's like, hey, I made these, by the way.
Are any of them good quality?
Most of them are just decorative. Really wouldn't suit you much. But
my idea is that eventually I have like a somewhat of like a money hole built into just jewelry I have on my beard.
Yeah, no, none of it fits that purpose, but point being. Anyways, Toki, there's a small like bell on the front desk. It's like a small stand with a bell, sort of like a bell tower's bell in it. And it says, and there's a small like rope, and there's a tiny like twine rope hanging off one of the sides. It just says pull, and there's like a small, I guess like tri-folded piece of paper right in front of it that just says pull for service. Yeah, Toki. Sorry.
I pull it.
Right, it makes a sort of sound, and it's like, yeah, I heard it. I'm coming. You see from around one of the sides, this sort of larger barrel-chested man, definitely a human with with sort of this mass of unkempt black, coarse beard hair, bushy eyebrows, and this like set of welder goggles that he's just like placing up. It is a good point to note that a lot of his face is covered in either soot or oil, and he's wearing a large leather smock of some kind with gloves on that he's like taking off as he's coming around. Oh, you're adventurers, aren't you?
I think we found my half brother.
Grima, he's almost as tall as you, actually. So,
I'm gonna look at him. Stroke beard.
Well, welcome to the Dragon's Dagger. If you need to stab it, shoot it. If you need to stab it, shoot it, string it up, or bash its skull in, we sell it. So what can I do for you lot?
I need gauntlets.
I need a sturdy shield.
I need to find my
you. And Octavius is like looking at you. What about you? What about you? You.
I pull out my.
You even lift a blade?
I give him
Oh, you're one of them
More
fancy types, huh?
along the lines of the magic types.
Oh,
I twirl my
Octavius,
fingers,
don't call
causing
you out.
sparkles.
His
Oh, joy. Well, I'll check in the back to see if I got anything for you. And he points at you, Grima. As for a sturdy shield, what size?
What the hell is that?
Tower shield size.
How did you do that?
What?
Tower shield.
No, I'm talking about what happened in chat.
I was trying to edit something so I can actually Can you send me the stat for when you get a chance? Can you send me a stat for the Ivy sword?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, you don't know it yet because you haven't attuned.
I'm soon, but it's base
You
stat,
don't
like I'm
know.
stabbing stat. I'm going to say cut things with it.
You said it was a short sword, yeah?
That's the form it has at the moment, yeah.
I'm not proficient, please.
It's 1d6
For
piercing.
now. Take some time to not get pierced by the vines, and maybe you'll learn something.
Anyways, so he tower
Can
shield.
you even lift that, Toki?
He kind of looks you up and down. You know those things are really damn heavy, even the ones made out of just wood, right?
Yeah. Could you have it inscribed with the god of fortune on it as well?
Okay, now you're getting into commission pieces, and those cost money and take time to make.
Well, I have 217 gold now.
I'll get back with you in a moment. Let me see if I got anything for the big bastard here. And he wanders back and he heads back behind what's basically just a wall, and there's like a small opening doorway that leads into what you assume to be wherever the forges are, wherever his forge smith equipment is.
It just needed it there. But your mom told me y'all.
You hear this rustling and the occasional like clanking of something getting moved aside or like picked up and put down somewhere else. These might work. Yeah. One moment. And he kind of, you hear the sort of sound of exertion, and he carries back, like, he's carrying one under each arm, and he, like, sets them down. They're not very fancy looking. They're made of what you can probably guess is some kind of iron. It's black in color, but it's very like simplistic in design. They're gauntlets and van braces. They appear pretty big. Made these things a while back for an orc, for a Goliath, I think, about your size. Poor bastard got killed about 5 days outside of the capital, but hey, I mean, I got my stuff back, so.
Then it was a good deal.
Not for him. I mean, the armor protected him. It's not my fault. It's not my fault he decided to charge into battle with half of it on. Anyways, you're welcome to try them on, but they don't leave the store.
I understand. You're a man of your craft, and it'd be a shame that it left without its proper dues.
Well, that, and there's also a binding charm that they'll take the arms off if you
Can I roll
try.
to see if he's fucking with him?
You know, that. Roll insight. Yeah, no, he's not messing around there. Like giving a quick glance, you notice there's like a faint purplish glow.
Oh, yeah. Well, then never mind.
Like, yeah, no, that's like once you put them on, there's like a faint purplish glow. It's like, oh, yeah, no. But they do fit you. They offer decent finger movement. There's a small, like, there's a small domed part that seems to like flex out and form almost a ball, half sort of 3/4 sphere like shape on where the knuckles that you'd actually be hitting people with are.
And I'm gonna look at him like this. You craft good wood. And I just realized that this man could probably be my half brother, and I would never know it.
Maybe. Yeah, well, if you want them, there. Let's see. And he like pulls out a small. He like rummages around behind the counter and pulls out a book, a pretty well-worn leather-bound book. Opens it up. There we are. Screw it. I'll say 15 gold.
All right. I'm going to pay it.
Okay.
And I'm also going to ask about a quarterstaff.
I don't deal in those things. If you want, you can. There should be a few shops further in that deal in that stuff. Though most of them are metal, not wood. That's typically what your type prefers, right?
I'm like, do I look like wood would handle something? Yeah. Does this look like wood can handle it? I have a problem with doors. Apparently, they keep saying you're breaking them. You're breaking.
Yeah. Well, what I do know is if you take a wood one, you're not carrying around 15 extra pounds. And most of them have a metal core. Metal core. It's just the housing that's different.
Oh, then. I'm also going. But Chance, what are your commissionary prices?
It depends on what you're asking. And he looks back to Toki. Set a tower shield with custom inscriptions, right?
Yes.
Any extra details? Patterns?
Circle.
Okay, that's an insignia plus engraving. What kind of material do you want this made out of?
Oh shit! Let's go with the
iron or steel.
Metal. Iron.
Okay, first off, that you mean solid iron, right?
Yes.
Okay, no. Tower shields only come in wood, especially for somebody of your build. You want a tower shield made of pure metal? You're lugging around almost 100 pounds. Trust me, you want wood. So factoring in prices. I'm assuming you don't want it colored or anything like that.
Nope.
So do you want the symbol on the inside of the shield or the outside?
On the outside of the shield.
All right. And you actually notice he's like writing down on a small sheet of paper he actually pulled out a separate notebook that once he started discussing that with you, and he's like writing out small words and sentences and then numbers next to it. Okay. Any kind of reinforcements? It'll cost a lot more, but well, it probably won't break as quickly. Not that I'm saying they will, but you know.
I'm sorry. Somebody walked in the room. What did you say?
Any reinforcements, like specific add-ons you want on it?
I would like a place that I can hang my mace on it while I have my spear in hand.
Okay. All right. Would you be all right with it swinging around? Would you be all right with it swinging around, or do you want it set in place?
Swinging around's fine.
Your choice. Okay. All right. And do you want this to be a tower shield that's built to what most are, or built specifically for your size?
Built for my size.
Okay. And he kind of like leans over the desk to get like a full view of you. Okay. And he kind of writes a few more notes down. All right. That's a tower shield made of wood. Have to talk to suppliers about that. Engravings and an insignia. What material do you want the insignia to be made of?
Let's go with a mixture of steel and iron.
Okay.
And would it possible to have the shield's core made out of iron?
I can put iron bars in it.
That works.
Okay, and he writes down. That's about, for all that, it's going to be
Wow,
55
be a lot more
gold.
expensive.
Dude, it's a regular shield. It's not a suit of armor or something enchanted.
Writing down, tacking up, it's like, oh, this is gonna be like 300 gold or something. In my head, it's like,
no, that's what it would have been if it was made of metal.
Also, he basically, whenever he said a mixture of iron and steel, he basically asked for crude alloying, which actually can help reduce the pricing because he can mix his lower quality metal inside.
Yeah, no, but
I'm a bit of a metallurgy nut.
So it'll be ready in about 3 days. I got a few other commissions that take priority, mostly because they're paying me more, and the orders are a bit more time sensitive.
I put the gold on the table.
All right. Already liking you pay up front. You need any? So, and he kind of looks over to you, Octavius.
I
can't sell you a dagger or something.
And I have a rapier.
I actually asked about some commissionary weaponry and stuff.
But anyways, I'll have a good day. And he's like wandering back with. Remember, Dragon's Dagger. If you need to kill it, we probably sell it. And he just walks back.
Okay, never mind then. You seek to go to the magic district, do you not?
Yeah, but I can probably handle that by myself.
I'm asking. I seek items of magical quantity too.
I'm gonna seek them out at this point in time. Do you want me to roll investigation to find them?
You're gonna try to find them.
Yeah.
You know where they were going, and you remember vaguely where the Foundry District is. So it's not so much investigation to get there and find them. Like you just like kind of bump into them as they're walking back out towards the exit.
Just walking around.
Hey, it isn't a lovely band of idiots.
Pleasure to see you again.
Okay.
Orcish guy I still technically haven't learned the name of.
Yeah.
I am Grima Blackfist.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the feel of my new gauntlets. I'm gonna hold up my new fully armored fist because regular Grima fist didn't fucking hurt enough.
I will note that this doesn't incur a larger damage This doesn't incur a damage bonus.
I know.
They're really just decorative at this point.
I know, but it's basically in case I ever had to punch something that wasn't usually safe to punch. In this case, I'm punching with gloves on.
All right. Anyways, so for the most part, yeah, Red. Looks like everybody got what they. Looks like, they had business in the Foundry District.
Yeah, I know they had business in the Foundry District.
So, anyways, if you guys want, Mark, if you want to head over to the Rune District,
that's where I'm following him because he probably knows where to go.
I was gonna
roll investigation.
Like sense the highest point of magic in the city, but okay.
Wait, did I just come from the Rune District?
Yeah, but they haven't told you where they're trying to go.
I mean, yeah, no.
Octavius, it takes you a little bit, a little longer than you'd like to say, about 20-ish minutes, but eventually you manage to get your way to the Rune District. Red, it's right as you're getting to the gates that you realize, oh, son of a bitch, I just came from here.
Like, okay, You are making me regret ever
I
trying to be
went,
nice
shut
to
up.
you right now.
So, Red, that is your name, correct?
It's Christopher the Red.
Ah. May I ask why the title?
He's red.
Many reasons. Yeah, Christopher the Red.
Grima, he is indeed red.
Really?
It's not because of my red skin, though. But
Just like I'm not called. I'm like my last name does not come from the fact that my hands are stained black for 2 months.
okay, I assumed your last name comes from your tribe, or
I knew not my father.
What race is Laurel again? Is he orc or half orc?
Half.
Yeah, so you take. I understand you either take your name from your human half or it comes from your tribe.
In this case, I only knew my mother for about 4 years before she gave me to a bunch of monks. And then they gave me the name because of the fact that I was the only one that learned the other methods of their monastery.
All right.
I'm technically Grima of the Black Fist, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to call it early tonight. Gotta go eat dinner real quick. If you're still playing, I'll rejoin if you guys are still playing. But if you're not,
we're winding down here real quick. This is more just like a shopping episode.
Oh yeah.
You know, like every
I'm not just shopping. Wow.
What I'm looking for in this case, is for I'm actually looking for I'm looking for basically a punch knife, but built it one that can fit around my gauntlets. And the reason why I'm looking in the Arcana district is because I want it to be enchanted to where I actually want to enchant a weapon into the gauntlets. I want to stack
no
punch.
way in hell you can afford that.
That's expensive.
I know, but I want to price it out.
Okay, both of you roll.
That
Why?
Also want
Why
a bag
would
of
you
devouring.
ever want a bag of devouring?
Because I have plans.
You're not
It's
wrong.
stealth kills.
God damn. Wait, what do you want us to roll?
You can always hide the bodies. Hide the bodies.
No, the way I'm talking about is that I saw it's a comic, Gnome Row with the bag of devouring. It's like, what the hell are you gonna do with that? It shows him like behind a guard. He's trying to sneak past. He just takes it, the bag of devouring, like shoves the top half of the body in, and then takes the bag off. The top half's gone, and the legs just slump over.
What are we rolling for?
Investigation, because you're trying to find a shop that sells magic items.
Historian as well.
Most of them think themselves pretty smart, so that wouldn't be that hard. Octavius, you found a pretty good place. It's a smaller building. It's kind of like a cottage of sorts. Well, no, it's not. It's like basically it's about the size of any kind of mom and pop convenience store. But you enter in, and it's like there's like a small bell that actually plays as you enter it. And like some guy shoots up, and a figure behind a countertop like shoots up. It's like, oh, good customers. Honestly, I thought there wouldn't be any coming in all day. Welcome to my humble shop. What can I do for you?
Grima, you'll probably take less time. You go first.
I'm looking for a bag of devouring and a general price range for enchanted items and such. If you have any defective, faulty, or cursed items, I'll take them as well.
Well, for the first question, we aren't allowed to sell those here. there was an accident a few months ago where some dock workers unloading a shipment of them accidentally spilled them out. So those are, for the moment, banned from being sold by any shops. Sorry. As for enchantments, depends on what you want to do.
I want to be able to have a blade come forth from the gauntlet, and thus I can stab with my punches.
Would this be when you punch things, or would it be something you can trigger? Would this be something you'd want to trigger whenever you want?
Whenever I want.
Casting
that
God,
makes it-
ye not
changes
guilty.
it. Would this be? What kind of blade would you want?
A double-edged, if possible. One extending about 1.5 feet past my fist.
Okay. Well, the best I know that can be done is about 8 inches. And that puts the cost
What did I
somewhere
tell
in 5,000 gold.
Very well, then. I understand.
If you want to go for smaller blades, that
about just a
that
dagger?
lowers the price drastically. Also, if you just want to go where
I pull out a standard dagger.
depends on how long. Takes it, like flips it in his hand a few times. If it was just the blade, this would only be
Whew.
800. You're asking for an enchantment that materializes something out of thin air. The resources for that kind of thing are fairly expensive. Not to mention the rituals. But point being,
I understand, Magnus.
if you want some magic blade, they might have a few things on stock, but I don't think you'll have to commission something like that.
I understand.
Is this for one gauntlet or both?
I can deal with one and then eventually build up the funds for the second.
Okay, because the price I'm giving is for one gauntlet.
Why
Now,
would they
do you have
sell
any
cursed items?
or
No. Those, if we do, they wouldn't be ones that are cataloged, which is fairly rare which is highly unlikely because I catalog everything myself, and I pride myself on not selling my customers not false advertising to my clients. And also, any cursed items we come across need to be handed over to the authorities.
Out of
It's a
Also, I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a medallion.
Okay.
About the size.
Can you be a bit more specific?
It's approximately half the size of my palm and is made of a jade stone.
Let me check something real quick. He actually goes under the counter, which is actually a glass countertop with a bunch of rings and pendant and necklaces inside that Octavius and Toki, you immediately tell have some kind of arcane aura about them. He gets out this massive tome, it lands on the table with a bit of a thud. He flips it open. Medallions. Okay. There's a few that are mentioned that have jade. Any other details you know about it?
It has it is circular in shape and is crossed. It has a cross with the quarter-line sections being not having quarter-line sections.
Kind of looks back. I'm sorry to say that item doesn't appear to be in any kind of registry. So no seller within the entire Imperium will have one.
I understand.
How desperate are you to find it?
It's of sacred. It's of great significance to the monastery I came from.
Yeah,
That doesn't answer the question.
Very.
Kind of like looks behind. He looks to you, Toki. Can I be assured you won't tell anybody about what I'm about to say?
He will keep himself quiet.
Toki.
Yes.
The elf who's standing behind the desk of this sort of this enchanted item shop is looking to you as like, can I trust you not to repeat anything that I'm about to say?
Wouldn't really pay attention in the first place, but sure.
Good to know. Okay, so I'm willing to bet that whatever you're looking for isn't being sold by any enchanted dealer because it's most likely either been an item that's stolen or is one of a kind and is thus isn't something a store owner would sell, but rather keep for themselves. There is one place you can go to, and he starts scribbling out, like he scribbles out sort of this directions. It's in the cloth district. Go towards the south. Go towards the southern sewer line. It's the octagonal metal plates you find in the ground. Look for the one with this mark, and he shows you it's a spider. It's a spider from the top, viewed from the top down, so it has all 8 legs in the back. And go and head left. You should find an alley, and you should find an alley with a small door that has a lantern with a blue and red flame inside. Hand them the slip of paper and tell them actually, no, just tell them A sent you.
Very well. And perchance, do you have any? I'm looking at his because I'd feel bad if I didn't buy anything from it after he put in this effort. I'm gonna look at his various rings and such. And I'm gonna just give me 5 of them, and then there are 5 effects. What are they?
Okay, well, we have rings of resistance, rings of protection, rings of agility.
I'll take 1 ring of protection. How much is that?
One moment. And he actually flips through the book again.
Okay. By the way, I'm gonna write down the name of the store so that I can just
All right, you do, and I will say it later when I decide on a good name. Okay, as a total price, that'll be 350 gold.
You got that money there, big guy?
Oh,
Wow.
That's the last of my gold.
Okay, so do you pay?
Yep.
You now have a ring of... I'm assuming you asked for a ring of protection. Did you ask for a ring of protection? And you have a ring of protection and a ring of... One moment. Oh, it's evasion, not agility.
Okay. So what do they do?
The ring of protection gives you a bonus +1 to AC and
saving throws.
It gives you a bonus +1 to AC and +1 to saving throws. The ring of evasion, this ring has 3 charges and it regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. When you fail a dexterity saving throw while wearing it, you can use your reaction to expend 1 of its charges to succeed on that saving throw instead.
Okay. I'm going to put both of them on.
Okay.
That's going to take 2
You
attunement
have 2
slots.
rings.
Or does the evasion need attunement
Yeah.
as well? Alright, so that's 2 of your
Moment.
3 slots.
Yeah, requires attunement.
All right. It wasn't like I was using for anything else.
Okay.
And,
And with that,
I'm
I'm gonna guess that you guys want to make your way over to the. Well, we're gonna have to end it here for tonight because I have things I need to do.
Sorry.
No, it's all right, guys. It's sorry this wasn't a more action-packed one. This is kind of downtime for you guys because you just got out of a pretty long mission.
This was our beach episode.
One of them. You might have more, depending on your actions. Anyways, yeah, hopefully we can get into a bit more excitement later on.
Well, I'm just going to say it.
Jesus.
He now has an armor class of 19.
Thank you for pointing that out, so I know who to try and hit more. Or who to just... No, thank you for pointing that out, so I know who to throw saving throw only spells at.
Whatever.
Ring of evasion.
This is like a big deal.